What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. So I sat here for about 25 minutes before the show with absolutely no issues in service. As soon as we hit that go live button, all of our service fell away. So this could be a really crappy start to the show, or it could be fantastic. Who knows? Right now it looks like it's going to be crappy, but thank you guys for joining us on your Wednesday afternoon. Apologies for the quiet moment there. I was trying to figure out what to do with this piece of crap Wi-Fi. Stupid thing. So it is going to be in and out unless we change it. So we'll see what to do. But of course, right as we start the show, it gives out. It seems about normal. Maybe we should switch it. No, the other one doesn't have a network either. Part of it is 90 plus degrees here, so it is about 28 degrees Celsius, 29 degrees Celsius. It's hot, okay? So that's the other issue with the service. Or we can just pack it up and head to the house. I'm frustrated with this. 20 minutes before the show, it sat in perfect range, no issues whatsoever. And as soon as we hit that go live button, everything dropped away. So just bear with me, okay? We'll figure it out in a minute. Alright, I've switched over to the cell phone. We'll see how it does. It's got a couple of bars of 5G. Don't think that's the issue. Again, when it is this hot, we tend to experience all kinds of issues, as you guys can tell. We never experience any issues when it's wintertime. Summertime just does not do well for electronics. I don't know if it's on my end or if it's on Verizon. We'll find out here in just a minute. If the cell phone starts kicking us out as well, just like that one did, we'll figure it out. Looks like it's holding good though. We do have our 777 headed back to London on the move already. I don't know if you guys were able to hear that a moment ago, but we do have our 777 back to London here on the move, ready to roll out. So for now, it looks like our service is holding. We had this same problem on Wednesday. Maybe it's just the day of the week. Who knows what it is? All I know is it's really, really annoying dealing with service issues. It's no fun for you guys. It's no fun for me. But anyway, looks like we got it for now. So try to enjoy the show. As you can see, we are on the 05s tonight. Or 23s, sorry. Getting them all kinds of backwards here. Got to go through the computer here and make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to. making sure all of our messages are popping up the way they're supposed to as well. Looks like everything is working correctly. Looks like we got an A320 headed up the hill. You gonna go sit in the penalty box? I know there's an E175 that was sitting up there. Again, you guys joining us just in time for the American 777 departure, as well as our next arrival, which is Southwest. Southwest 446 headed in from BWE. That's on a MAX 8. So there we go. There's our Southwest from Baltimore. And of course, we're going to have an E175 starting up just below us as our 777 gets a move on here in just a moment. Figured that was going to happen. I heard the bells over here a moment ago. We'll still try to turn it up for you guys. Hopefully it'll do a turn and burn right here. We won't have to worry about the E175 below us at all. Triple seven leaving quite heavy, headed back to London. That is American 174 heavy, headed back to London Heathrow. I think this Delta E175 here came down the hill. Got an A320 over here on the other side on a 23 left, ready for departure. Looks like our next arrival is going to be PSA. This one going to come in from Washington, D.C. They're in via Ronald Reagan in downtown D.C. Double double and triple check service things here. Stick with the Delta A320 here. And PSA already touching down there in that CRJ. Should have Air France push back at that 777-200 in just a few minutes. Here at any time. I wonder why we're having issues here. Let me know if that keeps jumping. I had perfect service there for a moment. Let's see what this one's up to. Yeah, that one's not working either. The 5G towers, I think, are hot. And I think that's causing a lot of our issues tonight, is the heat with the towers. I move the phone around just a smidge here to see if we can pick up a little extra service here. See what happens. So again, we are waiting for the Air France 777-200 to push back. That should be here in just a few moments. I'm trying to keep an eye on everything, make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to. Got an American 737 headed up the hill there. No, the E-175. The 737 rolled out to the end of the runway out there a little while ago. So here comes our PSA. E-175. We do have a FedEx Heavy to arrive here in just a little bit. Speaking of, looks like FedEx might be number 3 for arrival. Looks like our next arrival is going to be American Airlines 600 coming in from Chicago. There's ABC 11. news helicopters coming in for the night. So both of them covering something off to the east. Tonight we've got American in a 737 that, let's see, where is that headed? Oh, here in just a second. So again, next arrival is going to be American Airlines 600 coming in from Chicago. As we see both of the local news helicopters touching down on their pads there. So American 1441 headed to Philadelphia. So that one going to take the place of American 600. PSA hopefully finally gets into its gate there. As you guys can hear, PSA struggling to get in. It sounds like they're waiting on people to come out and greet it. There you go, Southwest on the move as we change directions here to go to American 600 from Philadelphia. So hopefully it's not still skipping for you guys. Hopefully everything is smooth. Let me know if it's skipping. We may have to do an intentional pause here, reset the software if that's the issue. Service is looking good though. Looks like that Southwest is going to do a turn and burn. Going to move right on out of here. This is the One World livery for American Airlines on that 737-800. Again, this one, American 600 coming in from Philadelphia. So maybe it's just my computer freaking out. As the service looks maybe not exceptional, but it looks decent enough. My playback is having a little bit of a freak out. That's the only reason why I am asking. And there she is. Nope. Yes? Did it start moving? It looked like it started to move. And then they stopped. Thank you, Matt, man. So our next arrival is going to be another American. I think this is going to be a American Eagle. This one's going to be operated by Republic Airways. This is going to be Republic 4497. This one coming in from LaGuardia, New York. 1 hour and 5 minutes of flight time for the E175LR. again as we await our final 777. That one's going to be followed by FedEx 785. 1 hour and 21 minutes of flight time for the 767-300. Freighter from Memphis. I hope it doesn't rain. First arrival there, that's Delta 1097 coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. 1 hour and 1 minute of flight time there for that 737 900. Looks like we got another man, I keep saying 737 ready to come out behind it. Hey, there's our American One World livery coming around the corner. So just enjoy the sounds of the planes until after the Air France departure here with those GE90s. Another E175 coming back here. Hopefully it'll get back here quickly and shut down. We'll see. France departure back to Charles de Gaulle. They're in Paris at 777-200 with those GEs out of here. We do have Alaska Airlines down at the end of the runway there, getting ready to go back to Seattle here in just a moment, as well as we have United in this MAX 8, as well as the Delta in the 737-900. Waiting for departures. Seems like we're seeing a lot of different airlines departing over here. 2-3 left today. Don't know what the deal is with that. I think they could possibly be avoiding storms to the west. Fingers crossed we don't get any of those storms. We were hoping to be down at stairs today, just in case it's decided to storm. But when I checked the weather as I got here, everything looked to be nice and clear. Nothing really in the forecast. Only a 15% chance, so we'll see. If it rains, it rains. I got an umbrella. Can cover some of our stuff. All right, Alaska 572 headed back to Seattle, Washington. Another 737 800, 900. I believe this is the 990 today. Should consider moving back over, but I really don't want to be right in public eye down below us. So as you can see, a double Delta here, the Delta 737 getting ready to head back to Salt Lake City, I think. Is this our Salt Lake City, or is this our what you call it? We do have Southwest on the way out. Southwest headed it to Baltimore on this side. That's Southwest 2392. This one here is not up on flight radar just yet. And as you guys saw, the One World livery there, they're waiting for a gate. That was American Airlines at 600. They came in from Chicago. No, yeah, Philadelphia, Chicago, one of the two. I think it was Philadelphia. So this Delta getting a move on. You saw that Southwest tail. So is Southwest headed to the box? Looks to be so. Looks like we might have some weather delays here as well. Looks like that's what's happening. We've got another Delta headed up the hill here. Hopefully they're not delayed. That one's supposed to be headed to Baltimore, and as you can tell, headed to the box. American One World on the move, headed to a gate finally. That one finally leaving us. We do have that United MAX over here on 23 right, followed by that Delta CRJ. So that last Delta departure, that was Delta 2600. That is headed back to Atlanta. I figured that was our Salt Lake City flight. I guess not. But we do have United as well as that Delta Connection CRJ. Hopefully everybody who stopped in to check out the Air France departure and dipped out, hopefully they left a like. So there goes United. Give you some flight info on that one here in a moment. As it leaves the ground, United, that is United 1769. That's headed to San Francisco. That is a max 8. And we got the CRJ departure. And we got another one headed up the hill here. Another Delta CRJ, Delta connection. Must be because of the weather. Fingers crossed we don't get any of that weather. Hopefully it'll stay over there. We have too much equipment here to cover up at the moment. I do have some things I can throw on top of some of the equipment. So fingers crossed that one cell that looks like rain will stay away from us here. So, Fly Executive, that's headed to Kingston. That exec jet we saw depart here before our 737. Showing me in A on the Delta departure there. So as soon as that pulls up, I'll give you the flight information. Delta 1409, but its destination still says unavailable. The other Delta CRJ, that was Endeavor 5219. That's headed to JFK. And that, okay, so Delta 1409, that is our Salt Lake City flight. I wasn't too far off the mark. I was just one flight off of the mark there, it seems like. So that Delta there headed to Salt Lake City, Utah. Looks like our next arrival is going to be Delta 689 coming in from LAX. That one's arriving in 4 minutes. So I don't know what the deal is. There must be some weather or something playing a role in which runway they're using right now. I'm not hearing anything on ATC, of course, but the one from LAX looks like it's going to use 23 left. It is flying east of the airport instead of west like they normally do when they're coming from the west coast. This one actually is coming up from the south. Normally they come from the north. But today, again, it looks like they're avoiding weather. So here goes our Delta CRJ. We have that new Pacific over there, as you guys saw it toward the beginning of the show. Southwest is still sitting over there waiting for either their departure slot or they're waiting on that weather to pass. See where our CRJ is going. We do have Sun Country coming in as well. This one coming in from Greenville, Spartanburg. This one's going to be a Tide Pod, so this is going to be Sun Country 8181. And it also is coming in from the west, or from the east. It's going to come around behind the airport here, what I consider behind the airport. And that Endeavor, that Delta connection we saw just leave, that's Endeavor 5152. That's headed to Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. Looks like they're doing a runway check. What are they doing? There's a bunch of them out here on the runway doing, well, I don't know what they're doing. So there's one, there's at least 3 more out there on the runway. Let's see what they're up to. Are they about to close the runway? So that explains a lot then. Maybe they are about to close 23 right. Maybe they're gonna work on some maintenance issues here. So all of our arrivals will be 23 left. Speaking of 23 left, we've got Delta on deck. Delta 689 coming in from Los Angeles. Gonna be our next arrival. It looks like they're putting the big X out there, so they are about to close 23 right for the evening, it looks like. Gonna have to get in touch with a friend of mine here at the airport, find out what they're doing. I'm sure it's just routine maintenance, of course. Good thing we aren't on the 05s. If we were on the 05s, our show would be over tonight. All right, so let's get our inbound from Los Angeles. Delta 689 from LAX. Which means I'm going to have to make some adjustments here since we're going to be operating it solely to this side. Nice touchdown from our LAX flight. I wonder if they're going to be, if they're mowing or something. No, looks like they're working. So we got an American A321 headed up the hill here. This one's going to go back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Looks like our next arrival is going to be an E170 or a CRJ. This is going to be Endeavor 5232. This one's coming in from LaGuardia. 1 hour and 4 minutes of flight time for the CRJ. It's going to be followed by another CRJ. Where are they racing from? This one coming in from DCA. So that's going to be Endeavor 5322. From Washington, D.C. They're in downtown at Ronald Reagan. We've got an E175 on the way out as we speak. You guys can hear that one starting and on the move. There's that American A321 I was talking about, getting ready to head back to Charlotte. I wonder if they're about to do the rubber removal on the runway. It's definitely a maintenance kind of evening. Doesn't look like they're pulling out anything heavy. It looks like as of right now it's just all small equipment. So again, it is 7 o'clock. Thank you guys for joining us. We've been on the air for about an hour now. So thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday evening. Here comes our one from New York. Got another one of those coming in from DC here in just a moment. Sun Country out there as well. Sun Country had to go a little bit long to give way to those two. We've also got American 1891 coming in from Miami, another 737-700. But up next, Endeavor 5322. If you're following along on Flight Radar, that one looked a little scattered due to the runway change or the runway closure here. Gonna have that E175 pass the lower portion of your screen. It's a little double American shot here. So Sun Country from Greenville Spartanburg is going to be our next arrival. How long is that flight? Shouldn't be more than 30 minutes. No, it's about 40 minutes. Greenville Spartanburg, a little bit southwest of Charlotte there. About an hour drive, I think, if that. Maybe it's 2 hours. Can't remember how far Greenville is from the Charlotte area. Why do we never see them close 2-3 left? Every time we do the show and they close a runway, it's always 2-3 right. Always. Why is that? It's really annoying. Again, at least we're not on the 05s. I can't complain too much. If we were on the 05s, we'd be in some serious trouble here. Be shutting her down for the evening. So this A321 off to Charlotte. You're gonna cut that close. There's Sun Country from Greenville, Spartanburg. In the Tide Pod at livery. Bit of a smoky touchdown there. Next arrival is going to be American. That American from Miami. That's American 1891. 1 hour and 41 minutes of flight time for that 737-800. Again, this one coming from Miami. So now we have American Eagle sitting here blocking this taxiway, and we've got a Delta A321 coming up behind it. Why is ATC so sporadic? There it goes. I was wondering if we were having ATC issues. About to have that PSA CRJ. That one's pushed back. So the two of them going to get a move on now. The American Eagle and the A321 from Delta. Here's American from Miami. Touchdown for the Miami flight. Alright, there's another one right behind it. This one's going to be Republic Airways 4596. This one coming in from Music City, Tennessee as well. This one coming in from Nashville. Another 1 hour and 4 minute flight from Nashville, Tennessee. Smoke lingering over there. Yeah, they've pulled out a water truck now, it looks like. Over here to the other side, looks like they're probably cleaning the rubber off the runway, if I had to guess. That's what they're up to this evening. Doing a little routine maintenance here at the airport. Yep, we got the north runway closed. There you go. this is what's happening on 23 right currently. Rolling out some water. They had a sweeper a moment ago. I think they are trying to clean the rubber off of the runway. I think that's what the deal is right now. So I don't think they've done any new concrete lately to the current runway. Of course, as you guys know, they're working on the new runway even further west. South Republic from Nashville getting closer. Again, that's another E175. Now our CRJ is finally starting. Alright, so that we did miss the A321 departure. That was American 1894. That one is headed back to Charlotte. We've got Iceland from Reykjavik with the pink tail tonight. Iceland 8:21. 6 hours and 18 minutes. That one's going to arrive in just 15 minutes. We'll have that beautiful Iceland. I have a feeling everybody's going to come down behind us. We will still see Iceland taxi to the gate here, as it will taxi to the gate on the corner there. Alright, so our next arrival is going to be Southwest 1544 coming in from Tampa. 1 hour and 28 minutes, or 20 minutes of flight time for the MAX as Delta decides to get this A321 out of here. Southwest has finally moved out of the penalty box here, as you guys can see. Southwest picking their nose up. Moving on. Another Southwest on the way out as well. So again, this one coming in from Tampa. This is another MAX 8. I don't know if we've got any specials today. I didn't even check today had school all day. So I had to go for my second round of school today. That was fun, to say the least. I wish there was an easier way to do it, but unfortunately every 2 years I have to go to school. I had to go Friday, and then I had to go again today. But I'm done for the next 2 years. Recertified, got my license renewed. Double Southwest action here. This one headed out as well as that other one. If you're just joining us, 23 right is closed, so everything is 23 left tonight. After all of our major heavies this evening have come in and departed. Who's going to be our next arrival? Is it going to be Iceland, or is it going to be American 2105 coming in from Miami? That says arriving in 7 minutes. Iceland says arriving in 9 minutes. So about a 2-minute difference there between those two. Iceland is bringing the MAX 9 tonight. So good to see the pink tail MAX 9. And we got another American Eagle pushing back over here. So that Southwest right there, that is headed to Denver. That's Southwest 1697 headed to Denver, Colorado. This other one's not up on flight radar yet, but we do have one that's pushed back. We're getting ready to push back. That one's going to be headed to Chicago Midway here in just a few minutes. This one right here that we're looking at on the screen, not up on flight radar just yet. We know where PSA is going. PSA is about to go back, take that CRJ, and go back to Washington, D.C. via Ronald Reagan. That one there is Southwest 2392. That one's headed back to Baltimore, Maryland. That is a MAX 8. All right, who's going to win the race? Iceland or American? Again, Iceland arriving here in just a moment. there's our Southwest to Biwi. That one another Max 8. You guys can hear that E-175 just below us, starting engines already. Looks like American's going to win that race, so it looks like our next arrival is going to be American at 21:05 coming in from Miami. 1 hour and 37 minutes of flight time for that 737-800.
So that one there, American at 2105, coming in from Miami, Florida. Next arrival is going to be our MAX 9. It's going to be ICE 820.
21. 6.5 hours of flight time for our max. Iceland coming from Reykjavik. I wonder if PSA will attempt to get a move on before Iceland touches down. Let's see how this goes. Now it looks like they're going to wait for Iceland to go ahead and make that touchdown. We'll see. There's still time. Pink-tailed Max 9 tonight. There you go, Iceland from Reykjavik touching down. We will catch Iceland here coming to the gate. They're already getting ready for Iceland down below us here. So PSA headed back to DC via Ronald Reagan there. The CRJ 700, I believe. I'm hoping that Iceland won't go down the hill, but I have a feeling they're going to. They're going to go down the hill behind us instead of making that U-turn and coming down the hill. But we do have an American Airlines something headed up the hill, blocked up by the trees, unfortunately. Looks like a 737-800. Let's see where Iceland went. So Iceland is going to turn out and head straight down the hill behind us. Again, we will still see Iceland as they're going to be on the gate closest to us there on the corner. So there's that American 737. Looks like our next arrival is going to be, let's find out here. We got somebody on final already. Looks like it's going to be Southwest 1388 coming in from Houston. 2 hours and 10 minutes of flight time for this Max 8. Sure under a pretty big Max attack tonight. A lot of Maxes today. We've seen a United Max, a bunch of Southwest Max, Iceland. Lots and lots of Maxes this evening. So if you are just joining us, we are down a runway. We are only operating at 23 left tonight. 23 right closed 30 minutes or so ago. Not sure exactly what they're doing, but they are doing some maintenance work, it looks like. So here we go, Southwest, coming in from Houston. There you go, a little 2-for-1 shot there. Here we go, another max for Southwest. Got another E175 just below us, getting ready to start up. Got one sitting over here. Iceland is coming around at Terminal 2 now, just behind us. So for those of you who enjoy the props, looks like we're going to get a good shot of Mountain Air Cargo 7503. This one a FedEx feeder. This one coming in from New Bern. This one's the ATR 72600F. So the biggest of the two tonight. And Iceland's got a beacon stuck on. Looks like their top beacon. As that American 737 gets a move on over on the other side. Speaking of American, our next arrival is going to be American Airlines 1799, another A321 coming in from Charlotte. Not going to be too concerned with that one as we watch Iceland make their way to the gate. With its stuck on beacon. So Iceland not going to come all the way to the corner tonight. Looks like they're going to go to that middle gate between the two corners. All right, Zoe, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for stopping in and saying hello. Looks like we got that American that was leaving. That was American 1888. That's headed back to Dallas, Fort Worth. That was also a 737-800. So here's American 1799 coming in from Charlotte, and A321. There we go, our American A321 touching down nice and safe. As we got a stare off between the two E175s over here, one waiting and one coming and one going. Looks like our next arrival is going to be United 2192. This one coming in from Newark, New Jersey. Another MAX 9. So we've got 2 MAX 9s here on the ground today at the same time, or will, as soon as this one touches down. Again, a lot of MAXs today. So there you go, these 2 E175s will switch positions. So for those of you who enjoy the props, here we go. Mountain Air Cargo 7503 coming in from New Bern. Our first of 2 ATR 72s. I think the other one's an ATR, I think it's the smaller one of the 2. I also feel like it's the older one of the 2. It'll be here a little after dark. Catch another glimpse of that ATR in just a moment. As it goes down, turns around and comes back this way. It's got a taxi all the way back down to FedEx. Looks like our next arrival is going to be a Delta 2992. This one coming in from Miami, Florida. 1 hour and 41 minutes of flight time for the A319. So they got a baby bus on this flight. Our other FedEx ATR has left the nest.
That one coming in from Ramona Town. That one's going to be Mountain Air Cargo 7508, another FedEx feeder. That's going to be an ATR 42 320F. They're arriving in roughly 30 minutes or so. But again, our next arrival is Delta 2992. Actually, looks like we've got one coming in front of it that isn't on flight radar. Looks like something of the private variety. There it is, a little exec jet making their way in. This one is not on my flight radar. It's our, is it? I think it is. I think this is our party exec. Yep, SAS. Not flying the old tri-jet tonight. They're flying their smaller one, it looks like. I wish they'd bring the Boeing business jet back out to play. There's our FedEx ATR, just in time. So this one rocking down the hill here. This one gonna head over to FedEx. Now our next one will be that Delta. Delta 2992. Delta 2992. There's our One World American livery. That one came in from Philadelphia earlier. That 737-800. Get a good look at that one here in a minute as Delta makes their arrival. Medical helicopter flying directly above us. There's our One World American. Again, that one was American Airlines 600 earlier in the day. That one came from Philadelphia. This one possibly headed it back to Philadelphia. Double American shot there. American Eagle and American. So our party, what I like to call the party plane, the streamers all over, hanging out over here. This is a company called SAS. We've had this conversation before about this one. They also own one of these planes that is a tri-jet as well. They also own a Boeing business jet. It looks just like this. Fantastic looking plane. I enjoy seeing that one when they bring it out. I've caught it a couple of times here on the show. Got American Eagle on the move. E-175. And then, of course, we got One World. for American Airlines. That's 737-8. Guys are just joining us. 23 right is closed this evening. We're just working out of 23 left at the moment. Doing some maintenance over there to 23 right. They closed it shortly after our heavy departures this evening. Back to One World as we await to see where that one's headed. It is not up on flight radar. That last one though, that was it. Envoy Air 3636. That was operated by American Eagle. Headed to Chicago. It's going to get quiet here for the next few minutes till our ATR makes its way in. So hopefully we'll have quite a bit of departures here to keep us busy. We'll see what happens. What time is it? It must be 8 o'clock. Getting close to 8 o'clock. Tends to slow down quite a bit around the 8 o'clock hour on Wednesdays. As you guys know, we left early last Wednesday. So we only had one runway last week as well, but we were very close to the runway last week. So the American One World 737 out of here. And we also have New Pacific if you guys are joining us. I don't think this is going to go anywhere tonight. I'm sure somebody's playing the Canes tonight if you guys are into hockey. I'm sure there's a game either tonight or tomorrow. So that one doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere today. That is a 757 from New Pacific. They tend to charter a lot of the hockey teams in and out. The last time we saw it, they chartered the Jersey Devils. Got the APU running. You can see there the heat waves coming out of the APU. Again, I highly doubt it's going anywhere this evening, but you never know. They could ferry it empty back to somewhere and go pick up another sports team, put it back to work. So the American One World that we just saw, that's American 1891. That one's headed to Miami, Florida. They started in Philadelphia, made a pit stop here in RDU, and now they're going to continue on to Miami, it looks like. Quite a few privates over there. Sorry, I was checking
on flight radar. Not too busy over here at the general aviation side of things. We did see both Sky 5 and ABC 11 make their way in earlier in the day. What are they doing now? I think they're cleaning the rubber off the runway. I think that's why we've got all of the rolling out with all the equipment here. It's nothing big like it was back in November. If you guys remember October, November, we had the runway closures because they were doing some concrete patching work to the runway. It doesn't look like anything that significant. Again, I think they're just cleaning the rubber off. They did take a water truck to the other end, the 05 end of the runway this evening. So I think just doing a little bit of runway cleaning here. Got a Mesa Airlines a little later. We still have that Sun Country that came in from Greenville, Spartanburg, due out here in a little bit. We've got, hey, this is interesting. Air Canada Express, operated by Jazz. It's going to be Jazz 673. It's not going to arrive for another 45 minutes, but it is an Embraer E175 instead of the CRJ that they fly out of Toronto. So Air Canada bringing something a little bit different this evening. Oh, I hear somebody on the move. Looks like we've got an E175 that's hiding in the bushes. Is that far behind? I don't guess that'll matter anyway. Here in a minute. Oops. Thank you for that information, Chad. That's perfect. I look forward to seeing the A220, of course. You guys know, if you guys are longtime viewers of the channel, you know how much I love an A220. The more A220s, the better. In my opinion. So we watch American Eagle slink its way out. I'm ready to see Sun Country. I'm interested to know where that's going to go. Ah, see, there we go. Thank you, Chad, for that update. Air Canada 1108 starts tomorrow. That A220, that'll be great. Hopefully we'll be able to see it. Hopefully it won't be one of those early hour flights that we won't ever get to see. We have several of those, like Bermuda. We're never going to see Bermuda, and I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. Unless I'm off on a Friday, you know, I can't really make a special trip just out here just to catch Bermuda. So I do apologize to you guys if you guys were interested in catching Bermuda. Unless I'm already off on a Friday or whatever day, the other day that they're here, more than likely I don't think we're going to see them. They also come at 10 a.m. We don't usually start our shows that early. Usually start around at 1 p.m. Speaking of scheduling, just a reminder, I will not be here on Sunday. I think I'm going to take the weekend off. And that E-175 going and hiding behind the trees there. So I am going to take the weekend off. I'm going to the air show. Unless Miss Carolina can talk me into doing something outrageous this weekend at the air show, we should be off the air this weekend. I don't know that I want to do another cell phone stream walking around the air show. Can't really give you guys the planes very well doing it that way. Wouldn't be the first time we've done a cell phone stream with the gimbal, but that was Miss Carolina's idea for the weekend, but I don't know. This weekend's definitely going to give me an opportunity to see how well the service is out there. But if you guys have your notification bells turned on, you guys will know whether or not we decide to do a show or not. I'll try to, if we do decide to do one from the air show, I'll try to get it up on Saturday. I gotta remember how to use the app on the cell phone and stuff to make that work. Don't think we'll have a whole lot of interest in the air show, so I really don't see us doing it. I think there's a lot of them out on the runway now. Let's see if we can see what they're up to down there toward the end. This tree's blocking what they're doing. Yeah, I seriously think they're working on trying to get the rubber up off the runway. That should be FedEx. We do have United coming in from Washington, D.C. via Dulles. This is going to be Mesa Airlines. That one arriving in 21 minutes. Why does that look closer than 21 minutes? But our next arrival is that Mountain Air Cargo 7508 coming in from Ramona Town, Wilmington. Out there at the beach. There we go. We got ops back here in the alleyway. What are you guys up to? They made a U-turn. FedEx getting ready to turn on final here. I don't know what's happened here on Wednesday nights. It's gotten kind of slow here the last couple of episodes of the show. We haven't seen the entire fleet of Cessnas come in, the Grand Caravans come in yet. Those typically come in shortly here after this one. Actually, there's a couple of them right there coming in from Jacksonville. There's one of them. So they go over to FedEx and ship all of the some of the smaller cargo out there. There's one from Manio. Got a couple of cargo masters. Looks like Sun Country 1982 gonna head to Minneapolis. So that one came in a little while ago from Greenville, Spartanburg. I'm gonna fly up to Minneapolis. That's 737-8. That one's getting ready for pushback here in just a moment. Looks like we got a Delta CRJ headed up the hill here. Little Delta connection action. As we wait for our FedEx ATR 42 to come back around here. They should come around in just a minute. Looks like we got Southwest as well about to taxi out. Southwest 1788 headed to St. Louis. That's one of our MAX 8s. Getting ready for taxi. We still have that one Delta connection E175 hiding behind the trees right there. As that CRJ makes its way up the hill. There's our CRJ passing on the lower portion of your screen. Comes Southwest in that MAX.
And there we go. The beautiful Sun Country livery. As many of you guys know, this is one of my favorite liveries right here. Just like how bright it is. FedEx. That ATR 42, the smaller of the two. There's one of those other planes across the runway there. The Cargo Master, the Cessna. So we do have New Pacific, if that's what you're talking about. We do have New Pacific in that 757 on the ground. Will this Max be a turn and burn? Another 737 for American, followed by another Delta CRJ. So a couple of Deltas, one American, and of course our beautiful Sun Country right here. So there's American heading up the hill at the bottom of your screen. Sun Country about to get a move on back to Minneapolis. You're probably right, Daniel. It probably will. If you guys remember, if the air show looks like it's going to be canceled, I don't know what we'll do. I don't know if we'll be here or not. I haven't decided. I don't have a backup plan for the air show. Not that we're doing a show at the air show, but don't know that we'll come out here or not. I haven't thought that far ahead. Honestly, wasn't sure if I wanted to go to the air show or not anyway. So we'll just see what happens. Again, that was Southwest Sun Country 1982, headed it to Minneapolis. That would making a stop here on their way from Greenville. Yeah, Miss Carolina had the idea of doing it. I don't know how many of you guys watched the terminal stream that her and I did with the cell phone on the gimbal. This is actually a really good show. Nice and smooth. Everything worked out well. I had a little service blips, but that was Miss Carolina's idea. So we're not allowed to take in tripods and stuff like that, I don't think. Could take the camera in, but I don't believe the tripod is allowed, if I remember correctly. So we got another cargo master about to touch down. This American is NA at the moment. I have no information for that one. There's our Cessna cargo master. Sounds like our Delta E-175 might be on the move. And it is. So that means we've got a couple of CRJs, an E-175, and of course that 737 for American that are possibly ready for departure. It looks like that other CRJ psyched us and took the E-175's place there. You'll see that E-175 in just a moment. So American is still in A. United from DC, now 7 minutes out. That's another E-175. Nope. Didn't change its mind. There we go. There's that CRJ pulling up behind the E-175. Why does this say something different now? I don't know if that's thank you, Matt Man, for gifting one Carolina Aviation membership. Congratulations to whomever got that one. Thank you, Greg, for the update on the airship. Shoot, I'm reading two different lines. For the likes, excuse me. I think we're going to end with Iceland's departure tonight. There's no point in staying for the MD-11. Don't think we'll be able to see the MD-11. I mean, we'll see it, but I don't think it's going to be what we want. The MD-11, we stay for that one because that's such a rocket. It leaves in a hurry. It, you know, straight up in the air. Fantastic departure. Don't know that we're going to stay for our MD tonight. May make Iceland our last departure. I think Iceland departs at 8:30. So we got a little bit of time here. Double CRJ shot there. So let's see if we can get that CRJ as it departs. Come on, pop up on radar. So United from DC next. Ooh, there's lightning in that cloud just above that E-175. Alright, so our next, so that one is Endeavor 5198. That's headed to Washington, D.C. That one was a headed in via Ronald Reagan there. So here we go, American. This one was NA a moment ago, and then it fell off flight radar, fell off the map. So we'll get that one in a moment. Then there were two.
wonder if we can pick up on that lightning in that cloud. I don't know that we will. It is still a little bit bright. I could barely see it with the naked eye. But there is lightning in that cloud above the E-175 there. That E-175 is still a good ways out. See if we can figure out where American's headed. Still nothing for the 737-800. I bet it's headed to Miami. It's either headed to Miami or it's headed to Philadelphia. If you guys want to place a wager on that. It's American Airlines 1701. I do believe it is headed to Miami. Still says NA on the destination here. Nope, there it goes. Now it's picked up. That is headed to Miami. Looks like it's raining off to the west. Alright, so Mesa Airlines, which is United Express, coming in from Washington Dulles. Mesa Airlines, the United Express operated by Mesa. So, that was about an hour flight or so. Not even 41 minutes for that E-175LL. Looks like we've got another departure here of an E-175. Dang, where are all of our arrivals? We got a breeze in 15 minutes. This happened to us last Wednesday too. We didn't have a whole lot of arrivals around the 8 to 8:30 hour there. But we do have that Air Canada coming in the E-175. So if you guys are interested in that, we do have that one arriving here in just a little bit. That one getting close, less than 30 minutes away. That one now 20. Again, that one coming in from Montreal. Got another one from Philadelphia. Another one from Miami. Atlanta. So yeah, I think we're going to end with the departure of, I think it will leave after the Air Canada E-175. So I think Iceland will be the last departure of the evening. I don't want to really stay for the MD-11 tonight. Given the runway closure, it's not going to be as exciting over here unless we were over farther toward that side. Then I might be able to make it work, but being where we are, I also didn't know about the runway closure. Should have got in touch with a couple of friends of mine here at the airport so I would know about that. Looks like that E-175 is going to make a move. It's as though the Lightning is off to the north of the airport here. And I have no clue where Molly is. I assume she's working late getting ready for finals for her students. E175, moving on. And then there was just the CRJ. Alright, let's see if we can give you guys some information. So it is Delta Connection. It's operated by Republic. That's the only information I'm getting at the moment. Sounds like we have a Southwest on the move. So this is Republic Airways 5816. Still says NA on my thing. There we go. Headed to New York via LaGuardia. So is this going to be a race to New York? Will this CRJ be headed to JFK? We've got a Delta 737 on the move over here on this side, looks like. Another one headed it back to Atlanta. Here's a Delta creeping up the hill. There's our Lightning. Looks like heat lightning over there in the distance. Maybe we'll catch a little bit of it here on screen. Sometimes the lightning is hard for us to catch. We've definitely been here during some pretty severe weather before. Caught some pretty severe lightning. So that CRJ, that one also, Endeavor 5101, that one's headed it to LaGuardia. So two of them headed it to LaGuardia back to back. So company aircraft racing it to the Big Apple. Thank you, Brianna, for gifting 5 Carolina Aviation memberships. Congratulations to those 5 lucky folks for receiving those. I'll have 5 more to gift here in the next couple of days. Starting tomorrow, I have 10 more to gift. So we'll have to pick an episode of the show to gift out those 5 other Carolina Aviation memberships. Again, we're not going to be here this weekend, so actually, I can't say that now. If the weather looks terrible for the weekend, we may actually be here. Or I may just spend the day with my wife anyway, since it is our anniversary, and go find something to do local. So we're about 8 minutes away, I believe, from Iceland's pushback. Seven or 8 minutes. Chances are they'll be delayed. They usually are. Not by a whole lot, but by a little bit. This is
It's definitely been a nice, calming afternoon show. Aside from the issues we suffered at the beginning of the show, which changing the Wi-Fi network seemed to fix that. Thank you, Matt, man. So Delta getting out of here. I believe this one might actually be headed back to Los Angeles. Forgot our LA flight was on the ground here, so that one there could possibly be headed back to Los Angeles. No information just yet on flight radar. It seems to be pretty well delayed this evening. And that was Delta 462. That one headed back to Los Angeles. Speaking of coming in from the west, looks like we got somebody off in the distance coming in. So we do have Breeze Airways, and that is Air Canada I'm seeing off to the west out there. No, it's not. What is that? That's something a lot lower and closer than Air Canada. Air Canada's still, it's not too far, but it's not that close. Our next arrival, though, is going to be Breeze Airways Moxie 745 coming in from Portland, Maine. Or Portland, hold on, not Maine, sorry. So 1 hour and 31 minutes for an A220-300. That's going to be our next arrival. Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll make it out there, Greg. Hopefully one of these days. So again, we're waiting on Iceland. Iceland going to be our last departure of the evening. Unless something miraculous happens, I do believe the MAX 9 there will be our last departure tonight. I did think about coming out here Friday. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do a Friday show. I haven't decided yet. Haven't done a Friday show in quite a while. I think that our last Friday show we did wasn't too terribly bad. So maybe we'll give another Friday night show a shot. We'll see. That lightning off to the north of the airport is going to start affecting these northern arrivals. It looks like they're already taking like Moxie took an odd turn here. Possibly. That's something on a very short final here. Something small. This one's not on flight radar. I was watching it come across. Looks like one of the, what you call it? RWB, good evening. That's one of the Academy planes, one of the flight school aircraft there. I think my tripod got a little too hot today. It's kind of messed it up a little bit. So out there's our next arrival. You can see it kind of top left of your screen. There is some lightning right about there, so maybe we'll capture some of that. Looks like we've got an A321 for American Airlines headed up the hill. That one's going to go back to Charlotte in just a couple of minutes. So that one that you're seeing there at the top of your screen, that is Moxie 745 coming in from Portland. 1 hour and 34 minutes of flight time for that A220-300. Hey, here we go. All right, guys, I'll be back with y'all here in a minute.
Most of the time, the terminal 2 side, they go this way.
guys. I apologize for that long bit of quietness there. We were talking to a good friend of ours that works here at the airport. I haven't seen him in quite a few months. So, you guys saw Air Canada for Montreal. Got our messed up MAX 9 for Iceland about to depart. So again, apologize for the long bit of silence. That American right there, that one is coming from Philadelphia, that second one. That first one came from Miami. Our next arrival is going to be Delta 1518 coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. That's going to be our next arrival. And of course, as you guys can see, our final departure of the night. Iceland headed it back to Reykjavik. Looks like they're going to go ahead and go for it. And then we'll catch that Delta arrival, and that should do it for tonight. Again, with the runway closure, I don't feel like our MD-11 is going to be that exciting of a departure. Actually, you know what? I didn't realize what time it was. It is 8:52. I thought it was closer to 8:30. So Iceland off to Reykjavik. What do you guys think? You guys think we should wait and see if... I mean, it'll be 30 minutes before the MD-11 departure. I don't know. Should we stay for the MD-11 or no? Trying to catch one of these big lightning strikes behind our arrivals. Unfortunately, I haven't been in time with it, so we've missed a bunch. So the MD-11's scheduled departure is 9:17. Probably won't leave until around 9:30. Let me look at flight radar one more time here after this arrival. We'll see what all we have. See who we have for arrivals. Those are our Air Canada E175. Alright, let's take a look here at flight radar. Do we have anything of interest? Jesus. Boston's 20 minutes. American Airlines from DCA and an A319, 13 minutes. Southwest from Phoenix, 30 minutes. Boston's 18. What is American? 13. Those look like the last 3 arrivals. Well, there'll be more after that. I don't know. Trying to figure out what gate is moving. No, it just looks fluorescent because the actual tail is black. The light is only showing the red on the tail, so it isn't fluorescent. You can see the light there, but it does look fluorescent. I agree. Pip, Hastings Aviation, what's up, good sir? What time is it? Again, we got an E1 or an A319 in 13 minutes. Let's look and see if the MD-11 is still on par for departure. Otherwise, it says 9:05. All right, so we will give the MD-11 here a couple of minutes because it does say 9:05 as opposed to 9:17. So we got about 11 minutes before that one starts to depart. Fingers crossed it is not delayed, so we'll hang out for another 10 minutes or so. Fingers crossed we don't have any rain between now and then. I don't think we will, though, as I keep a close eye on flight radar. Yeah, so this Air Canada is pretty unique. Somebody, Chad, I believe, said that Air Canada should start their A220 arrival tomorrow for the summer. So that's exciting news from Air Canada. I look forward to seeing that. Hopefully we'll see it in the evenings when we're here. So we're going to have a lot of inaugural flights this coming month. I saw a post today. There's like, I don't know, a bunch of different flights coming this month between Breeze and Southwest. Not Southwest, Spirit. That explains why you're still awake. The storm must have woke you up. I know, very late for you over there. What, 2 a.m.? Almost. That scheduled departure 8:05. Yeah, Ramona getting her inaugural JetBlue flight from Boston. Shoot, again, I was trying to get some of those arrivals while our friend was standing here. We had some really nice lightning flashes, but just not at the right time. I wanted to get some of those arrivals with the lightning in the background. And you can see they turned the light off there on Air Canada. I don't know, I assume this one might stay the night. There's a good possibility. And then it'll depart first thing in the morning. Looks like we got a United creeping out. Hey, good morning. Yeah, early morning over there on the other side of the world. Oh man, I got a sunburn on my arm and it is starting to itch. So there's that United. I think that's going to be Mesa Airlines. It's going to go back to Washington Dulles. See, tonight makes it a little bit more difficult. I can't tell what's happening down that way due to all of the blinky lights of all of the maintenance cars and trucks. Oh, I hope it's not raining over there. Probably should check the radar, make sure I'm not about to get wet. So I got a sunburn from Sunday. I had my shirt sleeves rolled up. Now it's hot and humid out here, and I'm a little sweaty, so it's making my sunburn itch a little bit. So it looks like our next arrival is going to be that American Airlines 1474 coming in from Washington, D.C. That's going to be another E175. Our last plane of the show is scheduled to depart at 8:05 unless we get rain, and it does look like it's raining off to the west. Hold on, I need to look at the radar, and like now, to make sure we're not going to get wet, to make sure I can get the equipment back in the car before it starts to rain. No, it's not as close as I thought it was. There it is. Our MD-11 is up on flight radar. That one is going to be our last plane of the evening. That last departure there. Yeah, not too bad, Robbie. I had school all day, so I got to sit in the classroom most of my day. A little change of pace. Yeah, so 9:05 is going to be the departure time. So our clock there on the bottom. As I believe this is Mesa headed back to Washington Dulles on this E175. Excuse me. So I went to the local community college today. I had to recertify for the state of North Carolina. I had a class last Friday, and then I had a class today. Don't have to do it again for another couple of years. So we have to recertify with the state to keep our license current every 2 years. What are you doing? There's our last departure of the evening, UPS 1275. This one getting ready to head back to Louisville, Kentucky. Hopefully we'll be able to hear it. New Pacific has their beacons on. I don't know that they're leaving. So the MD-11 going to sit over there and wait for our next arrival. So That last one to leave was Mesa Airlines 6248, headed back to Washington Dulles. Next arrival is going to be American 1474. This one coming in from DCA on an A319. I don't know if New Pacific's actually going to leave or if they're just doing tests. New Pacific's been there the entire time we've been on air. So here we go. American from Philly. Pacific there. What's up, Josh Griffin? Go check him out. Are you on Instagram or YouTube? Where are you at? So here you go. You guys can go look up Joshua. There's his information. I'll have to go and look for him as well. And that MD-11 sounds good. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Couldn't see it. The trunk of my car is in the way. Well, New Pacific over there is lit up, but I don't think they've moved the air stairs. I don't think they're going anywhere tonight. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Greatly appreciate it. Glad you guys enjoyed that. I had to run over there and turn that microphone toward the other side. So again, that one's headed to Louisville, Kentucky. Looks like we got one more arrival. Delta 817 from Boston. That's an A220-100. It says it's 2 minutes out. Let's stay for the Delta from Boston, and then that'll do it. It's close enough. There it is. So I want to thank all my channel members, moderators, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here, doing your thing. Thank you for the contributions today. Ramona Aviation, no. Nelia gifted 1. Miss Carolina gifted 5.
Mattman gifting 1, so thank you guys for the support. And if I missed any, I apologize. So make sure you guys have your notification bells on. I don't know if we'll be here Friday. I don't know if we'll be here. I don't know when we'll be back. Saturday is not an option. I'm going to be watching the kiddos while my wife has a bridal shower for one of her co-workers and friends. So I'm going to use Saturday as a day to relax. Sunday is supposed to be the air show, but if the air show gets rained out, we'll see what happens. Chances are I still won't be here. Going to enjoy my wedding anniversary on Sunday, unless she wants to come out here and co-host or something. It's not too likely that Miss Carolina will want to come out and co-host, but we'll see. But again, a huge thank you to you guys for spending your Wednesday afternoon, evening with me. Some of you spending your Thursday morning with me as of right now. So there it is, our last arrival. I'm going to take you back over to Air Canada. Air Canada already has all of their lights off. Anyway, just, you know, turn on your notification bells. I could do a show on Friday. Again, I haven't decided. I don't know. So we'll see. There's Ramona Aviation gifting 1 Carolina Aviation membership. Thank you, Miss Ramona. So we'll see if we'll see what happens. Again, Miss Carolina wants us to do the cell phone live stream like we did inside the terminal back in October for the air show. If we do that, I'll have to set things up, and again, we'll figure out whether or not we'll be back this week. Alright guys, again, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week. If I don't see you guys again on Friday, we will see you all again soon. Night everybody.